through any gate, and these are gates, right? Because experience enters through these seven gates or four senses.
Go to our website, which is HebrewLearningCircles.org. Go to Jewish Resources, scroll down to Parsha Videos, and you'll find the source sheet right there.
Jump right in, Parshat Shoftim. Very interesting Parsha. We will focus on the very first verse of Parshat Shoftim. Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha bechol sha'arecha. You shall appoint judges and law enforcers for your tribes at all your gates of your settlements. Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha lishvatecha, that your God Adonai is giving you. Veshaftu et ha'am mishpat tzedek, and they shall judge the people justly. So the Ishbitzer is asking the following questions about the Parsha, or about this specific verse. Why is the Torah emphasizing the wide distribution of judges and law enforcers throughout the land of Israel? You see that the emphasis here is on every gate, every settlement, every tribe. Let's make sure that this is well distributed. You would think that this is really pure logistics. We want to have an efficient system. And the Ishbitzer obviously is always asking, is there more? Now let's add to that the month of Elul begins this Shabbat. It's Rosh Chodesh Elul. How does this verse and this Parsha introduce the Elul theme of self-assessment? As we know, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur are coming up, and this is a month where we do some digging, some self-reflection, and some self-evaluation of the state of each our being, our life. How are we doing? What have we accomplished? Where have we failed? What do we need to correct? All that self-assessment process that we call teshuvah begins during the month of Elul, the 4 weeks leading up to Rosh Hashanah. And the last question, which goes without saying, it's always the question, is the well-distributed judicial system is it also symbolic of a deeper spiritual principle as well? He starts by quoting our verse, Shoftim v'shotrim, etc. You shall appoint judges and law enforcers in all your gates and settlements and amongst all your tribes. And he says the following, Sha'arecha, the word gates, Hainu la'asot shoftim bichlal ubifrat, means that you should appoint judges generally and particularly. Bechol medina ubechol il vechen hu bechol nefesh. He says you should do that in every state, in every city, and so with every soul, or every spirit, or every person. She'arecha, gates, hen zayin she'arim shebenefesh, shebahen ha'adam mekabel tova. So the gates represent the 7 gates of the soul or the spirit through which a person receives goodness or receives benefit. Now, obviously just gives us a little bit context. He's thinking here Kabbalistically, and we learned that the seven gates in the soul are actually seven sephirot, or the seven energy centers or attributes, through which, this is a little bit of an anatomy of the human experience, through which we experience, we receive, we sense the world around us. Behen, and they are Bet Einaim, the two eyes, Bet Oznaim, the two ears, Bet Nikvei Ha'af, the two nostrils, Ufe, and the mouth. And you see that it parallels 4 out of the 5 senses. So we have seeing, hearing, scent, the olfactory, and taste. Through any gate, and these are gates, right? Because experience enters through these 7 gates or 4 senses. Any gate through which a person receives goodness, great reckoning or great self-assessment is required. So why is that so? What about receiving experience through the senses is so much requiring of self-reflection, self-assessment? What about it? What about seeing requires discernment? What about hearing requires discernment? What about smelling requires discernment? And what about tasting requires discernment? It has to do with consciousness, with how conscious, how fully present am I or you to the full messaging or the full gift that is being received as we're experiencing life through our senses, or those 4 senses in particular. How deeply am I seeing? How well am I understanding or interpreting what I'm seeing? Same for hearing. How deeply am I hearing? When I hear something, whether it's speech or music or sounds in nature, am I really, really open to the nuance? Am I really letting that which is entering me enter all the way into my spirit? Am I really fully communicating? Am I really fully open? Same with olfactory. And in fact, here the discernment is a little easier because it's easy to know whether what the scent that's coming through is positive or negative. But yet, when I'm sensing, is it really registering? Am I really sinking myself in to the meaning or the messaging or the interaction, the conversation that the universe is attempting to have with me, and the same with taste? So you see where this is going. This is really about reflection on consciousness, and am I doing due honor? Am I really utilizing fully the gift of sensing? ובמקום שאדם משפיע, צריך לי יותר חשבון. But in a place where a person is influencing or bestowing, a person needs even greater self-assessment. Now, let's see the distinction here. A moment ago, we talked about the gates as the gates of receiving. But especially according to Baal Sulam, by Yehuda Leib Ashlag, he stresses the the dynamic of receiving from the universe. But he asks the question, what is the purpose of receiving? What is the purpose of being able to be open to the light and to the messaging and to the live transaction or interaction with the world, with the universe, with God? And he says that the true purpose for receiving is to be able to then give. And that is influencing. So he says, when I go to the level of now I'm not just receiving goodness or receiving experience, but I'm taking that and I'm processing that, and I'm turning that into a gift that I will now give on. So here, the movement through the gate is not inwards towards me, but from me outwards on to the universe. Could be through another person, could be through a sentient being, could be, any of my influencing. Now, when my giving, my influencing, my bestowal leaves my gate, that takes even greater discernment and greater self-assessment. And he says that is expressed in the verse by all of your tribes. Because remember, the verse said that you shall appoint judges and law enforcers for all your tribes at all your gates. The 12 tribes symbolize Lishvatecha, Hainu Yud Bet Kochot Shebe'adam Shemashpia Bahen. These are the 12 powers or potentials in a person with which a person influences. Yesh mehen niglot v'yesh mehen nistarot. He tells us that that's divided into two categories. We have gates that are revealed or external, and gates that are overt, and we have gates of influence that are covert. In fact, he's going to tell us that we have 5 overt gates and 7, see the parallel to the 7 gates of goodness, and those are covert. The 5 gates that are overt, that are revealed, are symbolized by Bet Yadayim, 2 hands, Bet Raglaim, 2 legs, V'Gviyah, and torso. Those are the revealed external influencers. I build, I do, I give, right, with my hands, with my legs. I walk, I go, I stand tall, and my torso is, this is how I am present, the hub of the person who is there in giving. And, torso can also be giving. I'm giving love, a hug. It's where my heart is. It's all the musculature, all the, this is how I activate my doing, my influence, my action in the world. All comes from the torso, through the arms, through the legs. Those are the 5 powers that are external, and they take great self-assessment. Am I building right? Am I walking right? Am I managing? Am I coordinating, controlling, and managing all of my doing the right way? Is my influence a positive influence? Is it a spiritual influence? Am I an agent of for the divine? Am I doing God's work? Am I doing the work that the divine has intended for me? Kaved, mara, utchol, dakin, vekeva, uvet klayot, hem nistarot. And that is the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, the intestines, the stomach, and my two kidneys. Those are the hidden gates. And here you have the sort of the psychosomatic, the body mind or body spirit integration. And he'll give two examples. Kaved, ko'es, tzarich mishpat shelo lichos, rak b'rtzon Hashem yitbarach. So the liver, which is a center of anger, needs very careful discernment and self-assessment. So a person is not angry for any reason but the divine will. So this is anger management or anger consciousness, right? Can I use fierceness, anger, fury only to affect good and spiritual outcomes? Or is anger controlling me? Is my gate cluttered? Am I stuck there serving my ego? Techol, it says, Techol sochek, tzarich mishpat shelo litlotzetz, v'chen kulam. He says, and the spleen is the center of laughter, and one needs judgment or self-judgment, right? That is how the judges sit in the gates, right? That's a symbolism. So when I have a gate with which I'm transacting with the world or interacting with the world, do I have enough of a conscious judgment that helps me regulate whether what's coming in or leaving is really aligned with the divine will, with the spiritual higher good? And he says the spleen is the center of laughter internally, and I need self-judgment that I do not make fun of others, that I'm not laughing casually, carelessly, hurtfully, etc. We need very careful, very clear consciousness and self-management around that. And then he concludes by saying, V'chen chulam, and so on and so forth with all the internal organs, each with its own psycho-spiritual quality and center and energy that I need to have full consciousness and full regulation of. This Shabbat is Rosh Chodesh Elul. It's the beginning of the month of Elul. And the Ishbitzer just gave us this recipe for very deep teshuva work, very deep self-assessment and discernment and self-judgment in a, not judgment in a punishing way, but judgment in a rising awareness way, in a way of correcting and refining who we are, which is the work of this month. What a beautiful way to plunge into the month of Elul and to plunge into this very deep and necessary work that keeps us really on track, keeps us walking the path that we are called to walk and supposed to walk, and that gives pleasure and growth and expansion to us and to those who come in contact with us. We should both so be blessed. Thank you for learning with us today. Come back for more. Shalom for now.
Today, thank you everybody. Again, click subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. We really appreciate that. Like to have that extra layer of connection with you. Like and subscribe. Come back.